So I've been talking about these various advertising channels and ad types, traffic sources, and so on, and the differences between them. So different ad types, ad units, these technical differences, how people might encounter these units, this type of advertising, and so on. But there's something else I want you to think of, and that's a concept or a term, and that is user intent. This is one of my favorite terms or concepts, and it's something which will come up quite a lot during the course, and it's something I discuss a lot in the context of, campaigns and whether they're going to work or whether they don't work and why or why not. So to me, the term means essentially what is the user's goal right now. So what are they doing, and what do they wish to achieve, and how will this affect their responsiveness to interacting with your ad, clicking on something, and of course taking the actions that you want them to achieve. Generally, the higher the intent of a user, the higher the advertising costs. This isn't always the case, but often so. So whenever you're advertising, always think about your user. What are they currently doing? What kind of mindset are they actually in? Are they in a buying mood? Are they digesting content or being entertained? Are they on a train? Are they at home? Are they at work? What kind of device they are on? All of these things are going to influence their intent when it comes to the actions that they want to achieve. And this intent of users actually has a huge impact on how your ads can, perform, and it should really be considered from the very beginning as part of your campaign strategy, and it should always be something that you're mindful of. So I'll give you some examples to kind of make this a little clearer. So if we look at search traffic, it is extremely high intent. Why? Because users are actively searching for some solution to a problem or for information. So this allows you to advertise to these people with very, very high relevance and context. So someone may search for, divorce lawyers in Colorado or in divorce lawyers in New York City or something like that. And if you're a lawyer of that type in that city, an ad to them right now would be extremely contextual, and what they have searched for has shown a high intent to pursue some sort of solution to a problem. And as a result of the high intent that tends to come with search, this generally translates to this very high relevance and performance for advertisers. But on the other hand, the actual prices and the costs associated with these ads can be extremely high. So to pivot back to this example I mentioned with a divorce lawyer in New York, the costs for clicks when advertising on that specific search term could be $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 per single click. And that comes down to the fact that the intent from that user is so high that for an actual law firm or a lawyer, getting that user through to them to actually get their information and touch base with them, that on average may, 1 in 10 times gets them a client who may be their client for 5 years, and their divorce settlement and things may incur, many, many thousands of dollars in legal fees. So the actual amount that those people are willing to pay for that extremely contextual and relevant traffic can be very, very high. And that can make it very hard to actually get into certain areas. So always be mindful of that when you're doing anything on search traffic and AdWords, for example. Now, let's give another example. So display and banner traffic. So with display, it kind of depends on where your ads are being shown, right? So there's all these sites around the internet. Your ads could be pretty much anywhere, and the user intent is going to depend on the site that ad is on, as well as their demographic and their personal characteristics. But more importantly, where are they and why might they be there? And of course, what part of the user experience are you actually interrupting, and what was their intent and focus at that point? So a banner on the front page of some website is going to kind of be different in various ways to a banner that's in their inbox when they log in and they're checking messages, or different to like their checkout page, for example, of some retail site, depending on what part of the site they're in, their intent is going to be different. And of course, it varies with the demographics, as I mentioned. So for example, users on a real estate site, they're contextually going to be better targets for ads about home loan financing, and users on that real estate site may on average be, they might fit into a specific demographic like male and female, generally 25 to 40, for example. So you get demographic and contextual cues that affect user intent. So what about pop-ups, the kind of traffic source that everyone loves and hates in affiliate marketing and on the internet in general? So pop-ups are most certainly a type of interruption marketing. So they're kind of like when you're walking down the street in, Thailand or the Philippines or Cambodia or somewhere, or in Hong Kong even, where people kind of spot you as the tourist and they kind of slip in and are trying to sell you something, and they get in your way. These interruption marketers who just get in your face. This is essentially what pop-ups do, right? So when you're walking down the street in Hong Kong as a tourist and someone appears out of nowhere in your face and asks you if you want to buy a watch, your intent to purchase a watch is almost negative, right? Because you've been interrupted and aggressively, something pushed in your face. So you're more likely to be interested in getting out of there and escaping that type of advertisement or interaction than actually looking at what they're trying to sell. So it's a very, very low intent type of marketing, but the likelihood of someone taking some action or converting, or their intent, I suppose, it depends on the origin site. So where did that pop-up come from, or where did they get redirected from? Much like display, that specific site is going to set the demographic and the context of what the user is doing, and that in itself is going to affect user intent. And lastly, let's talk about Facebook. So why are people on Facebook? That's the first question you should ask. And I think almost everyone knows the main reasons people may be on Facebook. They're bored. Most people log into Facebook habitually just to scroll through their newsfeed and check content and watch viral videos. They might be checking messages from friends, or maybe they're looking to socially interact with people, post something. Maybe they post like 5 Facebook posts a day about the food that they ate, or maybe they just want to see what their friends are doing. So there's various reasons why people may log in, but generally it's kind of habitual and often they're bored. But even though they're bored, they're yearning to be entertained. Those kind of come hand in hand. And that is why content marketing and things like BuzzFeed and Upworthy do so well on Facebook, because people yearn to be entertained. They really lust for interesting articles and videos for them to watch. They might be funny, or they might be really motivating, all those kinds of things. The other thing there is you can use content marketing ads essentially. So all of the stuff people enjoy reading, they can be used as ads as well. The actual utility of that is arguable in terms of direct response advertising, but you can actually advertise to people in those ways. Now, users on Facebook, I would say they have no intrinsic intent towards a specific product or service by virtue of them being there. I kind of think of people logging in as to Facebook as lacking in context, because you have no reason why they may have logged in. But Facebook has absolutely extreme targeting when it comes to the things people are interested in, their user characteristics, and their demographics. So a lot of people actually will buy on Facebook. Like, you can link to products and services, and people actually will buy as a result of those ads. So there is some intent from users inherently to purchase things and to take these kinds of actions, sure. But most people are kind of in a different awareness phase to search, for example. But because Facebook has so much data about people in terms of what they like, who they are, you can really advertise to very specific segments of the population and to people who are interested in very specific things. And in that way, you can actually make up for the fact that they're not actively looking for products to buy. Some people might go on Facebook and scroll through their newsfeed to look for things to buy, but I don't think this is a typical use case. So that's the last example I have for today. So to end things off, I have a few tasks for you guys. So I've released quite a few resources on various types of ads and channels and so on. What I want you to do today is actually go through and review these ad types and try to commit them to memory a little bit and remember the different types of ad channels and things we went over. And this is part of that spaced repetition I mentioned at the very start of the actual module. You can check out the tasks. There'll be various things in there for you to do. And one of the most important things that you should ever consider in affiliate marketing is this idea of user intent. Really drill that into your mind, because if you can understand user intent and you're always thinking about that, then you will be a much better marketer if you kind of have that insight into the mind of your customers. Right, that's it for today. I'll leave you with these tasks and I'll see you tomorrow on day 3.